Dr. Mindy here, and I'm back teaching from my new book, Fast Like a Girl. And today on this video, I really want to emphasize and speak to those of you that are experiencing weight gain when you fast. What do you do if you're getting unwanted weight gain with fasting? This is a really interesting question, and it does happen. I know that it's when you come to fasting, so many of you are wanting to lose weight. I get it. And if you and I were standing in line at the grocery store and you asked me, like, what was the best way to lose weight? I'd be like, you have to fast. There's no other reason. In fact, I went hiking with a friend the other day, and she always would kind of watch my fasting lifestyle and sort of giggle at me and assume that was for me, not for her. And then she tried intermittent fasting, and we were hiking, and she said, this fasting thing actually works. And I was like, yeah, it does. And she had dropped just 10 pounds in the matter of a month just from intermittent fasting. So we do know it works for weight loss. But what happens when you're not getting that experience? What happens when you're going in the opposite direction? Well, let me walk you through that. I have all over this book. I know weight loss is a huge motivating factor for many women with fasting. So if you want to know how to lose weight with fasting, this is your book. If you're in that place where you're already stuck, here's what I want you to do. So first, I want to make sure your detox pathways are open. So we've talked about that ad nauseum here on this channel. I actually have a whole thing specifically on opening up detox pathways specific for weight loss. So there is in the book, when you get the book, just you can copy this down depending on when you're watching this, that it's on page 170 in the book is a whole section on what to do how to open up detox pathways specifically to improve weight loss. So a lot of times as we are fasting, what happens is we're shedding the things that are not serving us. The body's getting rid of extra glucose. It's getting rid of extra hormones. It's getting rid of extra toxins. Where's it gonna put all that? It has to get it through the lymph. It has to move it through circulation. So if those detox pathways are really stuck, then what's gonna end up happening is you're going to hold on to the excess that it's trying to get rid of. So the first step is to open up the pathways. The second step, if you're gaining weight, is I want to make sure that you're varying your fasts. So I talk about varying your fasts in Fast Like a Girl a lot because as women, we have to vary our fasts. Men, you should vary our fasts. Women, we have to vary our fasts to make sure that we're meeting all the demands of our 3 sex hormones, estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. So if you're like a 1 meal a day or you've just been doing 15 hours, then make sure you're varying your fasts. Okay, third thing, I would really encourage you to make sure that you're fasting long enough. I've seen this a lot where we get people who just aren't able to drop weight or they're gaining weight and they're playing with a 15-hour fast or playing with a 17-hour fast. It may be time to do a 36-hour fast. I have done a video or actually reading from the book on how to make sure that what the best formula actually is. It was based off of science showing the best fasting window and length for being able to drop more weight. So it'll surprise you. It's a little longer than you may be doing. So you might have to elongate your fast. Okay, next hack that I want to give you. Well, we love fasting, but just because you fast doesn't always give you a free ticket to eating whatever you want. So it may be time to clean up your food. Now, I will tell you, in Fast Like a Girl, I have so many food recommendations. Even though it says fasting on the cover, I have so many food recommendations in here. So make sure you're doing the prep work that I talk about before you learn to fast. There's a whole section on that. So make sure that you're cleaning up your food because food matters. Okay, I want to go into a few more that are elephants in the room that we're not talking about. And one is exercise. Now, I've had multiple conversations with people who tell me once they start to build a fasting lifestyle and they're losing weight, they just find that they don't look at exercise for weight loss anymore. They actually have to repattern their relationship with exercise. So remember that exercise is great for mental health. Yes, it's great for building muscle, and it's great for opening up insulin receptor sites. So specifically muscle building exercises. Make sure that when you are exercising, you're trying to put muscle on, because the more muscle you have, the more insulin receptors you will have, and the more glucose that can be shuttled into your muscles to be able to allow your muscles to perform. So without those extra insulin receptors, then glucose just goes swimming around your whole body, and then it gets stored as fat. So those are really some of my favorite hacks if you're having this unwanted weight gain when you're starting to fast. Make sure the pathways are open. Make sure you're varying your fast. Make sure you're fasting long enough. Make sure you're cleaning your food up, and make sure you are building muscle through exercise. Those are some of the greatest tips. Dr. Mindy here, and on this video, we're diving in to the best fast for weight loss, the 36-hour fast. I really want to talk about how do we go about preparing for a 36-hour fast so you get the maximum weight loss. Also, how do we break the fast so you keep the weight loss? So here we go. I'm going to break this down as simply as possible. So remember that when we're dealing with the two metabolisms, we've got the sugar burner metabolism and the fat burner metabolism. So the name of the game when we're burning fat with fasting is we're trying to get to the fat burner metabolism as quickly as possible. So we can do that by making sure that we're avoiding some foods and that we're actually adding some foods in that will make our sugar burner system more efficient and therefore move us over to fat burner as quickly as possible. And here are some of the strategies to doing that. So, and it's really cool because I put in here a 30-day fasting reset for you all to follow. Men can follow it too. And what I did is I have a pre-reset in here where you can actually prepare yourself for fasting. So I'm really excited to get that with lists of food. Oh my God, there's so many lists of food in this book. So here's your pre-reset. What I want you to know is that you want to make sure that you are avoiding some key foods. And most of them are the standard American diet. Most of them are things you're going to find when you walk into your grocery store in the center of your grocery store, all that food in there. If it has a long shelf life, its shelf life is long because they've put chemicals and oils in there to preserve them. Those are going to make it more difficult. Those chemicals and those oils are going to make it more difficult for you to switch over to fat burner. It's going to take you longer. So here are some of the foods that I want you to avoid. First is I want you to get rid of all the harmful oils. If you don't know what the harmful oils are, they're in the book. A couple of the ones that you're probably eating that you might not be aware of are like vegetable oil, soybean oil, canola oil. Those are kind of the biggies. Second, the group of foods that you're going to want to avoid before going into that 36-hour fast are the breads, the cakes, the pastas, the cookies, those processed, refined flours. The problem with those is they spike your blood sugar, combine them with like some vegetable oil, and now you've got this blood sugar that's so high, it's going to take a long time for it to come down so that it can switch over into fat burner. But if we eat the same thing where we eat like maybe a piece of chicken and some salad, your your sugar burner system's not going to spike as high. And so therefore you're going to move over to fat burner much quicker. So when we prepare for the fat burner reset, this 36-hour fast, what I want you to do is make sure you're avoiding the oils and you're avoiding the processed carbs. Those are the two most important things. And again, there's tons of lists in here that you can focus on. I even talk about foods that you can add in before you go into a longer fast. To me, the 36-hour fast is a longer fast. That to me, anything over 24 hours is longer. But if you decide a couple of days leading up to this 36-hour fast that you're going to take the bad oils out and take the refined carbohydrates, you're going to lose more weight when you're in the 36 hours. So let's just start with that concept for a moment. Now, the other part of this is once you go into the 36 hours, you know, the way I do something like this is that the hardest part is when you get to dinner, like it's 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock at night, and you're like, what do I do? I'm hungry perhaps. Just go to bed, go to sleep, let your body repair. And when you wake up the next morning, a lot of times you're not gonna be that hungry. So, if you get to that dinner time and you're struggling, drink some water, have some Element, our favorite mineral pack, and maybe some tea, and go to bed. And then wake up the next morning, you only have about 12 hours at that point to go. When you go to break your fast, I want you to break it with protein, and here's why. Okay, I gotta interrupt this video because I have a free guide for you so you can master fasting. It's called A Beginner's Guide to a Fasting Lifestyle, and all you've gotta do is click here and you can jump right in. You've heard me say this on many other videos, and that's that protein is really going to stimulate something called mTOR. And mTOR builds muscle. So in a 36-hour fast, you've been breaking down. The body's going after that stored glucose and fat. Now it's time to rebuild. So put some protein in, and protein, if you hit 30 grams of protein at that first meal, you'll trigger an amino acid sensor within your muscles that will build your muscles strong. Now here's where we can start stacking all these things together. So we prepare the body going in to the fast with the tips I showed you. We do the 36-hour fast, a little longer, so we force the body to go burn fat. And then we come in with protein, and we get those amino acids triggered so that we're building muscle. You could even throw a workout in at that point as well if you had energy. And as muscle is building, your metabolism becomes more efficient. Your metabolism, literally, they say that the more muscle you have, the faster your metabolism. You also have more insulin receptor sites. So if you're really struggling to lose weight, I love this style of looking at the foods you want to avoid going into the fast, do a 36-hour, come out eating protein, break it with protein, go do some weightlifting around that time so you can build the muscle strong. Now you're not just doing like a crash diet, you're actually setting your body up so that the day after you do that scenario, you're more efficient at fat burning. So the weeks following that scenario, you're gonna be a better fat burner. That's the whole name of the game here, right? So where diets have failed us is that they're temporary and we have a temporary result. When you look at a 36-hour fast the way I just taught you, what happens is you're literally training your body to be a better fat burner and a better fat burner. Now, last thing I want to tell you is a lot of you have asked me about, well, I don't know what 30 grams of protein looks like. I don't know how to break a fast. I put it all in a book because you've asked me so much. I wanted to make sure you had it. Not only did I do a whole chapter, check this out, Chapter 9, How to Break a Fast, whole chapter for you on how to break a fast, but I actually put in recipes so that you can start to look, because a lot of people are like, well, yeah, I get what you're telling me, but what does this look like in action? So I have a whole section in my book of recipes on how to break a fast. I got you covered. Okay, you're not losing belly fat. I get it. Watch this video so you know exactly how to get rid of your belly fat. I really want you to remember that cortisol and belly fat, those go hand in hand. So as your belly is growing, it's not always diet related. It can also be stress related.